Tick-tock, tick-tock. The clock is ticking on Diddy because on Friday he finds out what his sentence is going to be. But today he found out what prosecutors would like that sentence to be, and it is vastly different from what his attorneys have suggested to the judge. Prosecutors want him to do 11 years, just over.
Kim Kardashian is on the run. That's the headline gripping Hollywood tonight, after Sean Diddy Combs was sentenced to 50 months in federal custody. Within days of that ruling, reports began surfacing that Kim had started unloading real estate, quietly transferring funds overseas, and retreating from her usually relentless online presence. The timing was impossible to ignore. Diddy's conviction wasn't just a music industry shockwave. It triggered a second tremor that now has the Kardashian empire shaking from the inside. Insiders claim Kim's legal team has gone into silent lockdown while high-level investigators start to piece together who knew what about Diddy's infamous freak-off gatherings, and who may have profited from them. The pattern began almost instantly after October 3rd, when Diddy's sentence was handed down in a New York courtroom. Before fans even finished arguing whether the 50-month term was harsh or lenient, property trackers noticed something odd. Two of Kim's smaller holdings in Calabasas and Hidden Hills quietly went into escrow. Days later, financial chatter pointed to a string of trust transfers routed through offshore intermediaries. Nothing about those moves was illegal, but the timing, right as federal prosecutors hinted that other celebrity associates could face questioning, made them look less like diversification and more like preparation. Social media analysts noted that Kim's normally curated posts came to a stop. No product plugs, no family updates, just silence. Behind the scenes, several industry sources told entertainment desks that her attorneys were on standby for potential federal contact. If that's true, this isn't a brand reset, it's an exit plan.
Same kind of extortion that we heard when Cassie took the stand and testified on that airplane ride back from France. Diddy said, "You don't do a freak off, I'm going to release one of the freak off videos that you are profiled in and humiliate."
Federal investigators, meanwhile, are expanding their net. Law enforcement sources have told multiple outlets that the FBI is re-examining digital evidence from Diddy's MSCC-seized devices, guest lists, messaging archives, and private video files connected to the parties that were once bragged about across social media. It's not about who danced the longest. It's about who might have had access to recordings now rumored to be circulating in secret digital auctions. The Kardashian connection becomes unavoidable when we remember how closely the family once orbited Diddy's social world. Khloe Kardashian herself described one of his 2014 gatherings as a naked party on air, a quote that has now been replayed 1,000 times in light of what prosecutors allege. What used to sound like celebrity gossip has become potential evidence of a much darker circle. And Kim's quiet unfollowing of Diddy earlier this year, right before federal raids on his Los Angeles and Miami properties, looks in hindsight like a deliberate act of distance. At the time, that unfollow barely made headlines. Stars do that every day. But now, those who track social behavior among Hollywood elites are calling it one of the smartest preemptive moves in recent memory. The feds raided Diddy's homes within weeks, seizing electronics and communications logs. People close to Kim claim she had no prior warning. Yet she stepped away online, almost in sync with the first warrants. Coincidence or calculation? That question is fueling every theory that she knew more than she admitted about the industry pipeline of compromising footage, videos, recordings, or messages that allegedly became currency among a few high-powered insiders.
So first, here is what Ray J said during our Diddy documentary. He was making the point trying to make the point that he can't believe Diddy is facing a RICO charge. Here's how he brought the Kardashians into it.
But Kim's most immediate legal fight isn't with federal agents. It's with her past. Earlier this year, her ex Ray J reignited one of Hollywood's longest feuds by claiming on a livestream that the Kardashians were worse than Diddy and under federal investigation for racketeering. Those remarks came just after he appeared in a Tubi documentary titled United States vs. Sean Combs, where he teased that a federal RICO case against Kim and Kris Jenner could soon be coming. Within weeks, the family responded with force. Kim and Kris filed a defamation suit, calling Ray J's claims blatantly false and insisting no law enforcement agency has ever initiated proceedings against them. Their lawyer, Alex B. Spiro, said they'd ignored years of noise, but that this accusation left no choice. That lawsuit now stands as a formal document, the line between rumor and litigation, ensuring that if any agency ever does open a file on Kim, the contradiction will be on the record.
Where we don't think that Kanye West can shock us anymore, and then he says something that is so shocking, so alarming. It's one thing to go after Kim, you can say whatever you want, I guess. It's his ex-wife. It's horrible, but he says it. to say things that will redound against the kids is just unforgivable. I mean, we've been through this so many times. We say it all the time. Wearing the Nazi shirt is unforgivable. The Klan hood itself, right? The fact we're...
The result is a credibility tug of war. On one side, a reality dynasty insisting on total innocence. On the other, a former partner who's been both vindictive and occasionally right about buried scandals. The suit also means that every new leak, every unexplained bank movement, becomes evidence in public opinion, if not in court. Ray J may lose in law, but he's already won in headlines, and those headlines are now feeding the second half of this story, the feud that never ended, Kim versus Ye.
I mean, I think that extra pressure just makes it a little bit harder. I think people were gonna be, I thought like, oh my God, everyone's gonna be so upset with me because I'm just like leaving, and I wouldn't want someone to think I was leaving someone because it got too hard. But there was just a lot in there that, for my soul, I felt like I had to make that decision. And
By now, the world knows how volatile that relationship became after their 2022 divorce. Custody negotiations, social media leaks, and West's unfiltered rants about her family turned private tension into public theater. In the past year, he's accused Kim of blocking their daughter North from appearing in his projects, mocked her parenting choices, and leaked screenshots of private arguments. She responded by blaming stress from the divorce for triggering a health scare, a brain aneurysm revealed on camera during the season 7 premiere of The Kardashians. The episode showed her breaking down in tears, saying doctors told her it was just stress. That same week, Ye was in headlines again, this time over a physical altercation in LA that left him under investigation. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone. While he spiraled, she retreated. Now, the whispers say those paths are crossing again, not in romance, but in federal inquiry. According to 2 industry insiders quoted by entertainment blogs in late October, Ye has allegedly indicated through intermediaries that he's willing to cooperate with investigators if it protects him from future liability tied to the Diddy network. The logic is self-preservation. He's already fighting multiple lawsuits, including inappropriate conduct claims from a former assistant, and faces mounting financial pressure after losing endorsement deals. If the FBI asks about Kim's presence at Diddy's events, he's reportedly ready to talk. Whether that's revenge or legal strategy is anyone's guess. But the idea of Ye handing over files, emails, or even private messages to federal agents has sent shockwaves through the industry. This isn't gossip, it's survival instinct.
Kim Kardashian has a big announcement about the bar exam.
By the way, results come in 2 weeks.
She has passed it, or at least she is very confident that she passed it.
And it comes at a moment when Kim's money trail is under fresh scrutiny. Property records show she's still the primary owner of several luxury estates, but 2 minor holdings were sold at significant discounts. Financial analysts suggest that could be a liquidity move ahead of expected legal expenses. Add to that a new string of overseas trademark filings under shell corporations in Luxembourg and the Caymans, and the optics start to shift from brand expansion to financial redirection. Insiders say her accountants are calling it international asset diversification. The tabloids are calling it what it looks like, an escape plan. What makes this all more volatile is the family's collective silence. Kris Jenner, normally the first to spin a crisis into a plotline, has stayed quiet. There's no clever PR pivot, no Hulu teaser about rising above. Instead, the Kardashians are moving off camera while the headlines close in. And while Kim insists through her lawyers that there's no investigation and no wrongdoing, the pattern is hauntingly familiar. We've seen this before. The calm before subpoenas. So here's where the pieces land. Diddy's sentencing has cracked open an industry secret that's been whispered about for years: the existence of recordings, files, and favors traded like currency. Kim's sudden financial reshuffle looks, to some, like a preemptive defense. Her ex-husband, now reportedly under his own legal pressure, may see her as leverage. And the feds, combing through years of party footage and message logs, are said to be widening their net. If all of this connects, the money, the silence, the possible cooperation, then we're not just watching celebrity drama anymore. We're watching the setup for a criminal chess match. Because if the tapes exist and the money moved, what happens when her ex starts naming names? The second wave hit faster than anyone expected. Within weeks of Diddy's sentencing, whispers about wire transfers turned into full-blown chatter inside the legal community. Financial reporters began tracing the movement of large sums connected to Kim's trust accounts, while her show dropped its most unsettling reveal yet: the aneurysm. On air, she described it as stress-induced, the kind of diagnosis that feels less like medical news and more like a warning sign of a life spinning under too much pressure. We can't ignore the timing. Just as lawyers and accountants started locking doors, Kim's body told its own version of collapse.
Responsible for Diddy's day-to-day life. So he is able to provide a lot of information about what that life was like. He goes into detail on extensive drug use.
Behind the cameras, the investigators reportedly started mapping where money might have gone if private recordings ever changed hands. Allegedly, those digital files, the so-called insurance tapes whispered about in industry circles, could hold compromising material involving high-profile guests from Diddy's notorious gatherings. Insiders claim the recordings were sometimes used as leverage for business access, with certain figures paid quietly to ensure discretion. Nothing has been proven, but the alleged paper trail, profits from compromising material followed by international transfers, reads like a pattern of panic disguised as strategy. And when we remember that Kim unfollowed Diddy just before the raids, the sequence starts to feel less coincidental and more calculated.
You know what I mean?
If it were that alone,
100% right. But what they say in this lawsuit, because you're right, that's not a statement of fact.
That's
He's
right.
sort of musing about
Right.
it.
He's
But
using
what
it as a
they
metaphor,
say
sort of, yeah.
is that was designed to plant the seed of the idea that the Kardashians were under an investigation. He says this in the documentary in May. Then in September, he...
As headlines multiplied, the defamation suit against Ray J became both shield and spotlight. On paper, it's a fight for reputation. Kim and Kris demanding damages over claims of a phantom federal probe. Yet every court filing keeps that same accusation alive in public view. Each time a journalist writes that no investigation exists, the words federal probe still echo in the story. It's a strange kind of publicity. Deny a rumor so loudly that it never fades. Legal analysts point out that even if the family wins, discovery could expose internal emails and financial data they'd rather keep sealed. In trying to silence a critic, the Kardashians may have opened a door. Meanwhile, West's presence looms over every paragraph of this unfolding drama. His recent lawsuits, the collapsing ventures, the public battles over creative control, all of it paints a portrait of a man with nothing left to lose. Multiple sources have suggested he's positioning himself as a potential cooperator, a term that sends shivers through any A-list circle. If true, that would mean private messages, contracts, and unseen communications between him and Kim could become evidence in a broader case. Allegedly, he's already spoken through intermediaries, signaling that his loyalty will follow his survival. Given his long history of airing private disputes online, the possibility of him handing over documentation doesn't sound far-fetched.
She definitely has Kanye's outgoing personality and will say whatever is on her mind, no matter what it is.
And there's another dimension, the family brand itself. Their billion-dollar image was built on control, narrative, tone, timing. Yet control is slipping. We've seen the cracks through smaller controversies, North's social posts stirring concern, parenting debates spilling into tabloids, questions over whether Kim's decision to let her daughter collaborate with influencers was a genuine mother-daughter project or a damage control severed campaign. When custody lawyers warned years ago that West's outbursts could threaten his parental standing, it was Kim who appeared calm and strategic. Now, the same caution might be interpreted differently if investigators decide to scrutinize her financial trail. The optics shift fast when federal agents start asking about bank accounts and offshore holdings. The atmosphere around the Kardashian-Jenner machine feels changed. No more oversharing, no spontaneous live streams, no friendly press leaks from sources close to the family. Instead, there's a cautious silence. Even the production schedule for their Hulu series appears subdued, trimmed to avoid overlapping with ongoing legal matters. But silence, in this world, speaks loudly. Insiders close to their team claim crisis managers have been cycling through PR strategists, balancing between downplaying the money movements and preparing for what they privately call the document phase, a polite term for subpoenas. One former associate phrased it bluntly. They're not fighting a rumor anymore, they're fighting time. And then there's the question of motive. Why move millions right after Diddy's sentencing? Why now? If her accounts were simply being reorganized, why hide the transfers through offshore entities? Every public action Kim takes, from posting a photo with her children to defending her brand collaborations, now reads like coded communication. Even her recent comments about protecting what I have to protect sound heavier when placed next to the possibility of financial audits. Whether it's emotional stress or strategic silence, the effect is the same. The audience can sense the tension.
I really do feel this way. This Kim Kardashian devoted her life to something, but
Okay,
it certainly wasn't the pursuit of academic excellence. She didn't even go to college, Harvey.
We also can't ignore the irony. For years, Kim trained to become a lawyer, framing herself as a reform advocate. She spoke at criminal justice events, visited prisons, and branded herself as a modern-day fixer for the wrongfully accused. But if the FBI's interest in Diddy's circle extends to anyone who profited from or enabled the alleged recording trade, that public advocacy could collide headfirst with private decisions. It's the ultimate image whiplash. America's most famous influencer, now facing questions about influence itself. The bigger picture is murky, but one pattern stands out. Federal investigators rarely chase celebrity gossip. They follow money. The moment Kim's financial movements align with evidence of controlled recordings or hush payments, the narrative shifts from social scandal to potential conspiracy. West's rumored cooperation adds fuel. Ray J's lawsuit keeps the rumor oxygenated, and Kim's televised vulnerability makes it human. The elements are all there: power, profit, betrayal, and fear. So here we are, money moving offshore, legal filings stacking up, a former husband allegedly willing to talk, a federal inquiry creeping through old party networks. We're watching a story that started as Hollywood scandal evolve into something colder and more systemic. If the evidence chase ever intersects the bank trail, the next headline won't be about reality television. It'll be about reality in a federal courtroom. But what do we think? Is Kim Kardashian a victim of her own proximity to chaos, or the architect of a network that finally caught up with her? Drop your thoughts below, because this saga is far from over, and the next episode might change everything. Until then, stay alert, stay curious, and keep your eyes on the money.